All right, last week I did solving inequalities, but those were just normal inequalities. Now we're going to solve compound inequalities, which are those ones with two inequalities in them. See that? Don't usually have to deal with that when solving equations, do we? Usually don't have two equal signs in the same equation. But these are not so bad when you get down to it. Now, there's one method. There's two different methods. The first one I'm going to show you will always work, so might as well pay attention to this one for sure. Just pay attention to the other one if you want to solve ones like that quickly. But I will have an example coming up in this video of a time when you have to use this first method. So, first method is kind of like when you're solving a quadratic equation and you get two factors. You set each factor equal to 0, right? And then you solve for x. We can do the same thing here. We can split it up into 3 is less than or equal to 2x plus 2, and 2x plus 2 is less than 6, right? That's both inequalities, right? Compound is, more than one, and there's two. So there you go. And since they're different, I'm going to draw a line down here. But at the end, we're going to want to combine them, so I'll draw a line all the way down. And now we just solve them like normal, right? Minus 2 both sides. 1 is less than or equal to 2x divided by 2 divided by 2. 1/2 is less than or equal to x. Okay. Subtract 2 from both sides. 2x is less than 4 divided by 2 divided by 2. X is less than 2. All right, well, now we can combine them back into a compound inequality again. See what I did there? If x is less than that and greater than that, then it can be put in between them. Now, don't forget the last step. We got to put it in interval notation. And there's your answer. You put any number back into our original original compound inequality, and it should work. All right, now for the other method is if you notice that there's x only in the middle section, and we just want to get it by itself, then there's a little bit faster way you can do this. You just need to recognize that it's two different inequalities. And so since you're adding 8 to the middle to get rid of the 8, you have to add 8 to the right, and you have to add 8 to the left. Just like that rule when solving equations, you have to do the same thing to the left side of the equation as you do to the right, and vice versa. But since there's two inequality symbols, we got to do it to all three. Isn't that fun? Now, 4 plus 8 is 12, less than 2x is less than or equal to 18. Not bad. Divide all three sides by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6, less than x, less than or equal to 9. Not too shabby. 6, not included. All the way to 9. Include the 9, because it's less than or equal to, right? So we get the brackets. And that works. 6 is less than 9, right? All right, let's do another example of our quicker method. Subtract 3 from all three. Oh, that's convenient. 7 minus 3 is 4, right? 12 minus 3 is 9. Okay. Divide all 3 by negative 2, not 3. I got 3 on the brain. Divided by negative 2. Okay. We're dividing by negative, so what do we got to do? We got to change the signs. Got to flip them over. They're eating everything. Well, because the signs changed of all these numbers here. Then we got to change our signs, right? Our inequality symbols. Is negative 9 halves less than negative 2? Yeah, because 2 goes into 8 4 times, right? So, yeah. That's negative 4.5. And because we like having the smaller number on the left, we might as well write it out like this. And we need our inequality to be our answer written in interval notation. Now, that, with the smaller number on the left, that is the only correct way to write this in interval notation. If you had this on the right, no. And that just goes to show you got to remember when dividing or multiplying or dividing by a negative number, got to remember to flip the signs, or you're going to get the wrong answer. All right, now let's do this one. We got x's in all 3 instead of just the middle this time. This could be bad. Can we subtract all 3 sides by x? Well, yeah, we could, but that wouldn't get rid of the x over here. Well, actually, no, this could work. It'll work eventually, but yeah. 3 is greater than 7x minus x is 6x, right? Minus 2 is less than 5x minus 1x is 4x minus 10. Yeah, that's not bad. Oh, wait a minute. I'm glad I went through with it, because now I want to subtract 4x from everything. And guess what happens? Oh no, we've got 4x over here now. What are we supposed to do? Well, go back to that first method we discussed in this video. Separate them into 2 different inequalities. Right? 7x minus 2 greater than 5x minus 10, right? Now we can figure it out. Subtract x from both sides. Add 2 to both sides while we're at it. Let's just go fast. 5 is greater than 6x. Add 2 to both sides. 2. Subtract 5x. So we get 2x is greater than negative 10 plus 2, negative 8, right? Okay. Divide both sides by 6. And we're left with 5, 6 is greater than x. Okay. I just realized that the inequalities are heading the other direction than they usually do. Anyway, divide both sides by 2. X is greater than negative 4. Okay. And we can combine those again. 5, 6 greater than x, greater than negative 4. Flip it around. Like to have our smaller number on the left. And interval notation. Oh, no brackets this time. Just parentheses, like it's a point on the coordinate plane. All right, one more example and we'll call it good, right? Can we do our usual thing or the fast thing? Well, we have the same amount of y on the left and the right, don't we? So I think we could, right? We subtract 3y, and you're like, what? How could we subtract 3y? Well, it's just like this 5, right? We subtract 5, subtract 5, subtract 5. It's going to become 0, right? So 3y minus 3y is 0. But subtract 3y here, subtract 3y here as well, and that will become 0. So what we're left with is, I might have done too many steps at once, okay? So 5 minus 5 is 0, plus 3y minus 3y is 0, okay? 4 minus 5 is negative 1, right? Negative 5y minus 3y, we're combining like terms right now, is negative 8y, right? Yeah, negative minus a negative. 3y minus 3y is 0. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. All right. I just clean this up. Okay. Add 1 to everything. Oh. Maybe I should have started by subtracting 4 instead of subtracting 5. That would have been better. But, you know, hindsight is always 20/20, isn't it? Okay. Now what? Divide by a negative 8. Oh, no. Gotta flip the signs. So now we're going this way. Negative 1/8. And 4 divided by 8. 1/2, right? Positive 1/2 is greater than any negative number. Yeah, so here we go. Negative 1/8 less than y is less than 1/2. And that is your answer. Just got to put in an interval notation. And there you go. Thank you for watching.